You're receiving this video because you have just recently, if not today, come into Phillips and Graham and signed one of our first party special needs payback trusts. Now, this trust is an incredibly useful tool. And again, I always tell clients, think of a trust as a basket. So when you came in, you signed this trust agreement and you created a basket. And this type of basket can be created by the self-advocate if they have the capacity to do so. It can be created by a parent, a grandparent, maybe a legal guardian, sometimes even a court can create it. This type of trust is somewhat unique. This trust is designed to hold first-party money. And what I mean by that, this trust is designed to hold money that belongs to the person with the developmental disability. There's never a scenario where we would have created this trust to hold money that belongs to mom and dad. So again, as you've probably learned from meeting with me throughout the process, I'm a parent. I have 3 kids. My oldest daughter, Megan, has Down syndrome. So when I create a first party special needs payback trust for Megan, that's not money that my wife and I would ever put in that trust. That trust is not designed to hold inheritance, and it's not designed to hold gifts from us, as long as we're alive and we can plan ahead. Now, if my wife and I pass away without doing any estate planning, then Ohio law says Megan gets a third of what we own because she's one of our 3 kids. And at that point, the money belongs to Megan. Once money belongs to Megan, the first party special needs trust becomes the right tool or the right vehicle to use to get that money back out of her name so that she can regain eligibility for benefits, means tested benefits like SSI, Medicaid, Medicaid waivers, SNAP, housing vouchers, all those different means tested government benefits. So a first party special needs trust, we call it first party because it's designed to hold money that legally belongs to Megan. And so another example might be if Megan receives a really, really large lump sum back payment from Social Security, we might use a first party special needs trust. If Megan is injured, maybe there's a personal injury case. We've had cases where someone's injured at birth or someone's injured in a car accident or some other event like that. And parents or someone else sues on behalf of that individual. That money that now comes in is first party money that belongs to the person with the developmental disability. That money has to go into a first party special needs Medicaid payback trust. Now, that trust is going to first identify who the trustee is going to be. And unfortunately, the person with the developmental disability can never be the trustee. For these type of trusts, I always break them into 2 categories. There's the category where a probate court is involved or a category where a probate court is not involved. So let's first talk about the category where the probate court is not involved. So if the probate court's involved, you can tune out for about the next 2 to 3 minutes and then you'll tune back in. If the probate court is not involved, then we have privately created this trust, and you, the parents, or have helped the self-advocate or the grandparents, or whatever the case may be, move assets into this trust. Now, with this trust, if you've created it, that means we already have some asset in mind that's going to go into it. We also have obtained its own tax ID number for this trust, and your tax ID number should be right inside your binder. You're going to take a copy of the trust as well as the tax ID number, and the trustee will take those 2 items. So the trustee will go to a bank or financial institution of their choosing. They'll take a copy of the trust and the tax ID number for the trust, and you'll open a first party special needs account for that individual. Now, I keep referring to it as a special needs Medicaid payback trust because money in this trust will go back to the state of Ohio up to the amount that the state of Ohio has spent on that person's behalf when they pass away. And so this type of trust, I always tell clients, it can sometimes have that black cloud effect because it kind of hangs over someone's head and you worry that if you don't use it, you're just going to lose it. And so it's really, really important with this first party special needs trust that we have a plan in place to use the money. One of my pet peeves with this type of trust is far too often we view this trust as a safety net. It just sits there as a safety net and it never ends up getting used to make the person's life better. Then the person ultimately passes away and we just write really big checks back to the state of Ohio. That's not what we want. That's not what's best for the individual. So The money in this special needs Medicaid payback trust, it should never be spent frivolously, but we do want to have a plan in place to spend it. We don't want to just sit on it. There are some limitations for how money in a first-party Medicaid special needs Medicaid payback trust can be used. So one of the things we always encourage clients to do is run that money through a stable account. A stable account is also first-party money. And so a special needs Medicaid payback trust can transfer money into a stable account. And a stable account has a much broader array of what the money can be used for. So it's very appropriate to take money from a special needs Medicaid payback trust and put it into the stable account. Now, you can only put up to $20,000 a year into a stable account. So what I encourage clients to do is wait until the end of every calendar year. And if you're December of every year, you should look at how much have you used that stable account throughout the year to protect someone's eligibility for benefits. And if you've deposited $4,000 over into someone's stable account in 2025, and it's now December of 2025, I would take $16,000 out of their special needs Medicaid payback trust and transfer it into the stable account so that we get the full $20,000 for 2025. And then in 2026, same thing. I wouldn't put money in the stable account right away. I would wait till year end, see what money you've needed to transfer into the stable account throughout the year, and then maximize out that stable account. And again, I do that for two primary reasons, actually three primary reasons. Number one, the stable account has a broader array of what the money can be used for without causing any concerns. So I like having that broader category of what the money can be used for. Number two, the stable account is not subject to Medicaid payback until the individual reaches the age of 55. So if someone passes away when they're 40 and there's money in the special needs trust, it is going to go back to the state of Ohio. If the money is in the stable account, though, it will not. And so by transferring money out of the special needs Medicaid payback trust into the stable account, we can circumvent some of that Medicaid payback requirement with the funds. Number three, the stable account has a debit card, which makes it slightly easier to use sometimes than the special needs trust. Not always. And I do want to stress, there is no problem with spending money directly out of the special needs Medicaid payback trust. Lots of clients do that, and that's okay. I'm just saying it can be slightly more convenient to run everything through the stable account. So you have this special needs payback trust. You need to open an account. We need to transfer assets into that account, and we need to do that somewhat expeditiously. You created this first party special needs trust because the person has assets in their name, and we need to get those out of their name. So you want to open that account somewhat quickly and transfer the money into that special needs Medicaid payback trust. Once you do that, let us know, because we're going to send the special needs Medicaid payback trust to Jobs and Family Services and other entities and tell them about the existence of the trust. That's really important, and that is something that we want to make sure is disclosed to the government agencies so that there's no problems that come back on you guys. But again, the important things to remember with this special needs trust are open an account, move the asset into the account, and then once it's in the account, we've regained all protection in terms of Medicaid and means-tested government benefit eligibility. Then over time, we're going to transfer money into the stable account, and we're going to use that money to make the individual's life better. So you're going to have questions about this. We're going to have follow-up phone calls about this. This video is just a short follow-up to your signing appointment to give you some overview of what the next steps are and keep you informed. Now, you may have had a court-involved special needs Medicaid payback trust. If there's a court involvement in this, that means we have to go through the probate court, and every county does it slightly differently. Some counties require you to go through a guardianship to get the court involvement. Other counties do not. If there's court involvement, then your next steps are to wait. We're going to schedule a phone call with you. You're going to wait, though, and we have to get court coordination for all of our steps. Once we have court approval, you're going to do the same thing, though. You're going to take the tax ID number for the trust. You're going to go to the bank of your choosing. You're going to open an account, move the money into the account, and then you're going to have to get us a copy of that account statement because we have to file an inventory with the court showing that those assets have been moved into the court monitored special needs trust. If it's a court monitored special needs trust, one of the really, really important takeaways is you cannot spend or use any of that money until we get court permission. You cannot transfer any of that money to a stable account until we get court permission. The first thing that has to happen is court permission to use the money, court permission to put the money in a stable account. Once we have that permission, then we can proceed accordingly. But please pause and make sure you coordinate with us. You can't, you're not going to get a bill from us if it's a court monitor, because we even have to have our bill approved by the court before you can even pay that. So everything has to be coordinated through the court system if it's a court monitored special needs trust. So we will be in touch with you. We'll have follow-up phone calls and meetings to talk about the next steps. But the next initial step is to open an account of your choosing and then be ready to transfer that first party money into that trust, so we can then show the court that we've done that. And that does get us back into a place of being eligible for means tested government benefits. Then we have to circle back to the court again and get permission for how we're going to use that. All right. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email me directly. And one final note I always like to say at this point is thank you. I really appreciate you coming in and trusting us. I realize that this can be stressful and overwhelming sometimes. We cannot make it easy, but we do try to make it easier and try to make sure that you have all the right steps in place so that your loved one's eligibility for benefits is truly protected. If you find yourself stuck or frustrated, don't hesitate to call me. But again, I do want to just end with a really big thank you. I really appreciate your business and really appreciate you trusting us with this. Have a great day.